Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. Hello, Philippe and Raul, thank you so much. I know you make an effort to be here. I also make an effort this morning. I was in London. I just arrived, and it's quite challenging now traveling with passports and with so many, COVID regulations and everything. And I didn't have time to go home. So I took a taxi, and it's just an example that it's very nice to have hoteliers as a friend, because I called the general manager of the neighbor, NH Suecia. I said, sorry, I cannot have time to go home. And he said, how can I help you? I love this question. I think we have to keep this in mind, I think. Besides the, the digitalization, all the trends and everything. This is my little lesson I have just, 10 minutes ago. Somebody with a hotelier, I think, attitude, with an hotelier soul, asked me, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And this was very nice. After getting very early this morning, trying to get a Gatwick Express that is not running anymore nowadays because there is not enough people. Trying in the airport, nobody really around, asking for so many, COVID and QRs, which I think is kind of the new word, QRs everywhere around. So I think finally somebody asked me, how can we do for you? How can we help you? So I think this, for me, is a little lesson I want to bring today, that I think we, especially in this time, we have to be hoteliers. We have to be people, being kind and being nice with other people. Well, that's just my little introduction, my little lesson. So these two gentlemen, I'm sure they are hoteliers. They have it. They have different, completely little different business models, business, target. They are, the type of hospitality they do a little bit. I'm sure you're very familiar with the Relais Châteaux. We love it, of course, and of course with Barceló group, we also love it. So very nice. We have a Spanish group. It's very important, of course, in our economy. And even though you sold the Mallorca property, we still love you. And so, I don't know, the first thing I would like to put on the table, do we get any lesson from COVID? Do we? I don't know. Do you want to?
Yes, just first I want to correct you. It's not an effort for me to come to Madrid. It's only a pleasure. A double pleasure, because my youngest daughter is studying at the University Europea de Madrid, and so double chance to be here and pleasure to be with you. Second, do we learn something from the COVID? Nothing really new, but an acceleration of trends, and we are facing in our network worldwide huge difficulties to retain staff members and to recruit new staff members at a level of excellence. Around the world, we have 42,000 staff members, and what we want to do is to retain them and to offer them the possibility to experience new destinations, because we all know that the young wants to travel and to discover other countries, what we can provide them, but also we want to retain them, train them and retain them, because it's a huge difficulty to recruit nowadays at the level of excellence that we need in our property. And you mentioned how is important the welcoming and how we can help, an hotelier can help the guest is very important. And it's more and more important. And it's the reason why our next Congress, which will be digital for unfortunately, the second year, because when we have to decide, it was a little bit early in the year. And we will dedicate this, we'll call it the Heart of Relais, meaning the HR, human resources, because human resources are really key for the future.
So Raul, do you want to say something about the lessons or the
Yeah. First of all, probably try to explain a little bit how difficult it is to run in a business that we had more than 30,000 people working with us, and one day to the other say that all the hotels, all the activity, hotels, the airline company, the travel agencies, the tour operator, everything must be closed, no activity at all. And we tried to do a business plan and a strategic plan for 5 years. We changed some years ago, and the plans are for 3 years. During the COVID, in particular, during the first months, the long term was 1 week, probably less than 1 week. We changed completely our management system. We had every day, included Saturday, Sunday, bank holidays, every day a call with 30 people trying to be coordinate, because I felt when I say probably tomorrow we must close an hotel, we change our mind in hours. We opened one hotel in Budapest and we closed the hotel 1 week later because the administration said that it was not possible to receive international travelers. We reopened again the hotel 2 months later, and we closed again 3 weeks later. It's terrible how changed completely the situation. And I think this is one of the big changes, how flexibility, how important it is. Philippe mentioned the problem with the staff. I don't know if all of you are familiar with, but we have some hotels that we are not ready to open completely because we don't have staff. And we have restaurants closed. We have some inventory that we cannot open because we have not the possibility to join people in our company for try to give to the guests all the services. And it's terrible. At the same time, we have some problems with the demand in some areas. In other areas, we have problems because we don't have the staff for working. I think probably another lesson is in the first wave, when finished, I asked to my team, which are the lessons and what we will do different if we have a second wave. That's what at the end of May 2020. And the first conclusion was communication. We must to increase the level of communication. And it's very difficult to communicate when you have not a clear idea that what can happen tomorrow. And you say to the people, what can happen? I don't know. But the people ask for more communication. And I think that probably this is one of the lessons that we must to change a little bit our system of communicate with our staff.
Yeah. Well, me as a journalist, I think hoteliers or hotels are not very good communicators.
Are not very good.
They are not. I think there's something, I don't know if you agree or not, something they have to work a little bit. And sometimes you see, like for instance, it was funny, during the lockdowns, they have like social media, very sometimes active, and the hotels were closed, and they saw like, what's happening? So now there's many, I think hotels now have many ways to communicate with the guests or potential guests, social media, website, direct message, everything. And it's something you have to incorporate a little bit more. Because things haven't, changed very fast, I understand, and you are focused on business, of course. But now I think it's true, and I think that this context where you said also flexibility from one day to another, things change so much. In London, they have 3 lockdowns. Well, in UK, you open the hotel 3 times and you have to close it again. And I remember before, I was at the Ritz in London, and I was at Rosewood. They are opening now in Yamagna, as you know, so I went to see them. And it was amazing, because everything was prepared for Christmas. Mm-hmm. And 1 week or 2 weeks before Christmas, they have another lockdown they didn't expect. So they have to read off all the food, all the reservation from us. I think now it's time to see exactly what are things we have to do in a different way.
About communication, if I may add something, of course, we are very present on the social media during the 2 lockdowns. And I remember initiatives from our chef who were cooking at home. Mm-hmm. And everyone was at home at that time. So it was very interesting to see the chef cooking in their own kitchen, mm-hmm. but cooking, I would say, a family kitchen, something that you could do at home. Mm-hmm. And this has been very well appreciated by our guests. And so, and on another side, so that kind of external communication mm-hmm. on the social media. But as far as internal communication is concerned, mm-hmm. we have organized a lot of Zoom conference. We are fed up with Zoom, but it was very important. And I think that we have never been so close to our members who were totally, they were receiving the sky on their shoulders, because never has experienced such a dramatic time. And this was very important. We never have been so close to our members during the lockdown.
Yeah, that's right. Now you mentioned the cooking classes. It's true, in Spain it was very popular. Chefs doing cooking. We have, I think, David Muñoz was very popular during the COVID. I told an hotelier, why don't you do something similar with housekeeping? Because that for me will be great to have a lesson how to clean, or young people, or there are more people than chefs. Sometimes chefs have a so dominant position. But I think, so also I think one of the things you also mentioned, you have to be more flexible. Do you think hoteliers, because I just, in Rosewood, the CEO, Sonia Cheng, she's quite interesting person, very young and with another way of doing things. And she said, they have a problem, or they have to do something, a solution to whatever. I said, what an hotelier will do in this situation? So the general managers said, we'll do this, and said, well, let's do the opposite. She said that to the team. She said that we need more out-of-the-box thinking in the hotelier industry, hospitality industry. Do you agree with this?
Raul, you want to answer first?
Before this question, I want to mention a little bit about your previous comment and Philippe comment. Is when you talk about communication, I am sure that we can improve the communication with the customers. But Philippe mentioned about the members. But imagine with all the staff, we tried to do something to the more than 30,000 people that are not with any job, any work to do. And at the same time, we have many owners of the hotel. And when you don't have revenues and you have all the costs, you must talk and try to explain to the owners of the hotel what's happened with the rent, with the leases, what's happened with the bank. We have many people to talk because everybody wants to talk with you. The media, but also the bankers. What's happened with your business? You will be ready to pay my loan? And it's many people asking for questions, probably questions with not any answer. That means that is not the easy way. You probably in your in your point of view from journalists, you say, why you don't have more exposure to the customers? Why you don't explain better? You are right, but at the same time, we have many different stakeholders or people that we must to have a conversation with them. No? I think that obviously, when you have a shock, no, like we had, I think that we must to change our mind, to think in a different way. Probably in our business, we have a very difficult situation that when everything is going wrong, is the right time to invest. Mm-hmm. When the cycle is going well, is not the right time for invest, because you have good rate, good occupancy level. But when you have the cash flow and the optimism for invest is when you are in the peak of the cycle. And I think all the crises at the same time is a big opportunity. And it's a big opportunity also for try to do a big refurbishment, to do a change in our hotels. And when the market recover, we can increase the cash flow much clearer. No?
Mm-hmm. And since you've been in different regions, I don't know if you get any lessons like from one region that can apply to another, like for instance, if you have in Asia or in Caribbean, did you share this information? It was something valuable to have a global maybe perspective of people from, different parts of the world, like Asia or maybe in Europe, getting closer to other European guests that I've seen in Paris, many Germans or Belgians, or I don't know. Do you have this advantage getting information, direct information from different markets, different regions?
During the 2 lockdowns, we have organized more than 100 what we call members call. With all our members worldwide, and they were attending from each and every country. Relais Châteaux is present in more than 65 countries currently. So, of course, the situation was very different, depending on different factors, because we had properties that without any airline connection. So that means that they were closed because no guest could arrive, even if they were open. Mm-hmm. So it's different for them. It was different, and so what we have decided is to cut the fees according to their localization, their location in the world. But of course, these exchanges among our members were very important in order to see how some react, because it's always a question of best practices and hope. And we have seen, as Raul mentioned, some members say, well, because we are closed, we need to think what we should do for after, because we are all passionate, all with hope, and so many of them, I know one in the city of Madrid, but other in Paris, in cities, who did a huge refurbishment, and because they are closed, so it was also an opportunity to refurbish and to invest. So that was great. So I think that some members say, well, the most important was to anticipate how long would be the crisis. And for me, it was very obvious that the crisis will be long. I'm sorry, I took the example of the Spanish flu, who was not a flu and who was not Spanish in the year 1990, not at all, but it was a coronavirus. It was 1 century ago, and it has last without vaccine 2 years. Just after the First World War, with almost 50 million deaths. 50 million, can you imagine? 50 million deaths at that time, but it was included in the war, so nobody cared.
Yeah, right.
So, I knew, we knew that this crisis will be long, and so we have organized ourselves to be long, on the long term. And I think that it's only in 2022 that we will realize that the crisis is behind us. But even now, you coming from London, it's not exactly back to normal. So it will take some more months to be back to normal. But normal will come back, and I'm quite sure that we'll be all stronger after the crisis. I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm convinced, I hope.
And Raul, how about
I probably would share with you that I am a member on the International Advisory Board of the École Hoteliers Lausanne. No? And I called in March last year to other members of the International Board, people coming from Asia, people coming from the States, people coming obviously from Europe and from Africa. And one of the conversations was with people, the owner of the most important hotel chain in Central Africa. He's based in Mali. At that time, I read in the media that the tourist sector will be very affected for a long time and probably will never recover. The buffet is died. We never will see buffet like we had saw before. These kind of messages that for me was a little bit strange. And I want to understand from different parts of the world. No? I talked with people from Korea, people from China, people in Hong Kong, people in different places. But this guy, the owner of this company, I asked, what do you think about this situation? I am talking about the end of March 2020. And he told me, Raul, we had lived Ebola. Ebola was terrible. 50% of the people with Ebola died, 50%. And at the beginning, we were very careful to touch anybody. We have face mask, we have no buffet. After few months, finished Ebola, we shake hands, we kiss friends, we recover, and he explained me a message that for me was very interesting. Say, and we try to maintain at the hotel some protections because we thought that was positive for the guest. But the perception was negative because the people thought, oh, must be some problems in this hotel because they have some protections that we don't see in other places. And that means that I remember buffet when we reopened, the first hotel in Europe was in Czech Republic. And after 5 days, the people asked for the buffet. They say, we are very worried to eat something that is in, we knock the door, put some food, say, no, we want to have the normal menu that we have at the hotel. And I remember that I traveled to Madrid in June last year. And in Madrid, the people was much more worried than in other parts of the country. That means that I don't think that it is by country. It's by region and probably can be by town or by city. And the people, the behavior of the people when travel around the world was different. The people that came from Madrid, the behavior was different than the people came from the Basque Country or from Galicia or other part. Because the experience that they had with the virus were at that time different. That means that this is not only country by country. Obviously, the situation has been completely different in Asia or in the US. In the US, or the people have been vaccinated or they don't want to be vaccinated. That means that they are traveling. They have no restrictions and the people are traveling. We have our hotels in the Caribbean better than 2019 now. Europe has been a disaster. If Philippe has some issues because he is coming from Paris to Madrid, or you have some issues coming from London, we have a problem. Where is Schengen space?
Of course. Yeah, I think they have to work a little bit around all these you know, make it friendly, because it's not friendly. Now I think it's not friendly traveling at all. Depends on the countries, of course, but I think we have a long way to do. And nowadays, in which scenario are you? Your respective mall association and group, in which scenario?
About the recovery?
Yeah, about the, I mean, are you thinking in 1, 2, or 3 years? What's in your mind now? You are in a post-COVID situation already, making plans, or?
Well, I've already mentioned that I think that the post-COVID for us, post-COVID crisis would be hopefully next year. We did in most of our properties a very good, except big cities, but very good summer season, very good. And we came back to figures even pre-COVID of 2019. So we are full of hope. But we think that coming back to normal will take a little bit time. And I agree that on one point very important that we need to look after, not only us, but everyone in the tourism sector, is not to degrade services. Because what we see is that somewhere you say, oh, it's due to the COVID situation, but it's too much an excuse. And it's very worrying to see that you know, we are degrading services for no reason, no use. I don't want to give many examples, but as a traveler now, because I'm coming back to travel, and I see that too many times we use the COVID crisis to say, oh, we don't do that, we don't do this, we don't do that because it's a COVID, it's a COVID, it's a COVID. And so particularly in luxury travel, we need to be focused on delivering the high level of service, not taking the COVID crisis for an excuse.
Yeah, so do you agree? There's, we are putting in danger this quality of service that luxury deserve and the guests expect? Is this in risk?
Yeah. In terms of recovery, I think that the situation will be completely different, probably hotel by hotel, destination by destination. This summer, we have had several hotels that are in record year, never better than never before. But the hotels that are more dedicated to big events, they are suffering a lot. If we talk about the Spanish market, the situation in Barcelona is very bad situation. If you go to Santi Petri or to the north part of mainland Spain, it's been a very good summer. But it's a little bit crazy because I remember we had just opened one hotel in Conil, in Cádiz, no, in the south of Spain, and the trend was very positive, but they say rumors in the media that probably they will do a lockdown. Only rumors, not reality.
Media, always media.
Yeah, sometimes media are terrible, no? And I think that the people, they don't want to go to hospitals. They want to enjoy. We are selling, I don't want to sell only bed and a shower. I want to sell experience. And the people want to be happy. I say that we are working in the happiness business. That's our, our spirit. And if the people is worried, what's happened? Sometimes you go walking by the hotel and some people don't want to have face mask. Other people is telling to our staff, what's happening with these guests? They don't have the face mask. It's very difficult to adapt the proposal to the guests because you have different situation. No? But I am very optimistic about the tourist sector.
Just the last question, because maybe some people want to say something. So where do you see the opportunities, if there are any, for the hoteliers?
Philippe, do you want to?
Well, opportunities, for us is we, in 2014, we have launched a manifesto, we call it, explaining what we were doing as Relais and Châteaux members. we were enhancing the best of a region, you know, of the local products. We were doing things, but we were not able, communication, to expose to our guests and potential guests. So we think that this, what we observe is that our guests are looking much more, not for rooms, not only for fine dining. Of course, we are very well known for fine dining, and we are wonderful and talented chef. But also to look to experiences more and more. And what surprised me the most is that we are in a world where you can find information about each and every destination. But when we are developing our service concierge, because a guest arriving to our property, they want to be reassured. I've heard of this, El Mercado San Miguel in Madrid. Is it a place where it's interesting to go? And this will be asked to the concierge. They want to be reassured, and they will follow our recommendation, the recommendation of the hotelier. So unique experiences, and during the crisis, we have focused on an offer that we have, which is private villa. Private villa is hospitality with privacy and with services. And due to the crisis, we have seen friends, families going to a private villa with 5, 6 rooms. It could be a suite, 2 suites in an hotel somewhere, but privacy and also services. So this has worked very, very well.
Yeah, that's
so
so
we see some trends like that.
Private villas. And how about you, Raul? What do you see?
I think that each crisis at the same time means opportunity. More crisis, more opportunities. More risk, but more opportunities. And I think that the people are more flexible, that we talked at the beginning. Probably the people is ready to accept more changes. Probably all the transformation, the digital transformation, improve, accelerate during these couple of years. We see a consolidation in the market. Probably we can see more potential deals that if the market is going well. Because at the end of the day, I think that all the crisis means that the people that are more professional have more options, more opportunities than the people that they don't work so hard. And I think it's good time for the people that can survive.
One thing very important that we have observed also is a decrease of the OTAs. The OTAs has been a strong competitor for our profession, you know, but always putting the price down. And we cannot deliver value with price down. It's not possible. And one good thing, because there are some good things in the crisis, is that the OTAs were only providing technology, nothing more. No added value service. And I'm quite sure that the future will be in companies able to deliver added value services, not technology down, because, you know, how can you pay your staff if you have only struggled by the competitor or by the OTAs. And we thought that some years ago that the travel agent in niche will disappear. And I'm just coming back from a big event organized in Paris, selling France. Visit France, Vive la France, organized by Duco, and with a lot of travel agents coming from US, from UK, and just looking how to sell a destination like Italy, like I hope this event will come in Spain and Portugal one day, because it's fantastic. And also there is a big avenue, big future for
very good message, Philippe, because we have more than 1,500 travel agencies. That means that it's important that
they are very important. Very important.
I was surprised when, during the COVID, they said the hotels, they get more phone calls. They get phone calls that in the previous time. And also just one said about experience, which of course all of us spend a lot of time in webinars and all this, talking about, learning about experience. I just have to mention that last week I was at a hotel, the Grand Control, which is amazing hotel, because they open the doors to Châteaux de Versailles when the Château is open.
You were very lucky. Yeah?
I was very lucky. I was very, very lucky. That was a wow experience. And for me, I said, well, I believe in some hotels are doing something that we can call a real experience. So, but that will be another chapter. But I don't know if you have any questions. I don't know how to do with this or. We've been very clear. No, nobody wants to. I think is there a microphone or?
Right.
The microphone is coming.
No. In our industry, we have a big issue about the employees. I want to know about your opinion. What can I do in our industry to make more attractive, to catch a real professional for our industry? And what can I do the government or regional government in Spain to have a real career for our business? Thank you.
I'm not sure I catch everything.
Very good question.
Yeah. Tough one.
I think that we still in Spain, in particular in Spain, I think that some people believe that the people that work in the hotel industry in particular are not good jobs, no, in terms of quality job. Also, some public people, no, mention these kind of messages, and I am not agree. I think that the people must be professional. I think that we must help them with training and also with a clear career, no? That they can see that the future can be not the same job 20 years, 30 years, exactly the same. They have some ambitions and they can improve, no? And sometimes if you don't try to prepare these kind of careers, the people can feel that the job, the tasks are repeat every day the same. And I think that's not good for the people, it's not good for the company, and we must rethink about it. But if you go to, in particular to Switzerland, also to France, and probably Philippe can talk about that, I think that they believe that the people that work in the hospitality industry is a very qualified people and is a very important people. Here is, if you are not ready to do anything more, go to work in an hotel in a base role, no? And it's don't make any sense. No? I don't know. I think that you feel different,
no, of course not. Of course, it's challenging, it's difficult, and we are federating independent hoteliers, so it's even more difficult than you to provide our staff members with a career. But it's exactly what we need to do: training, a career, and also a purpose. And well, what we see is that you can do this job of hospitality only with one single word, with passion. If you don't have the passion of the work, then of course everything seems, every duty seems very heavy. So the passions, and I remember one of our members who said, well, we are doing as hotelier the best job in the world, because what we only are selling one thing, happiness. We're selling happiness. We are not in a corporate business in Relais and Châteaux. So it's true that selling happiness to others, bringing joy, happiness, and it could be a purpose for young generations.
Yeah, I think we need a little bit of more like role models, because we've seen this, like chefs is becoming very popular. Everybody wants to go to the kitchen and feel like a superstar.
TV show.
And sometimes I think, why don't hoteliers show a little bit more what they do, the passion, how happy they are, how can they make money, and how can they make a career, successful career. And actually we have Spanish professionals in a very top levels in, in Asia, in, Four Seasons, or a man, or in the best resorts, in the, like vice presidents, and where are these people? I think they should, I don't know, well, I think sometimes we should, I think, sometimes I think the hoteliers are a little bit, in the office all the time. And I think I teach at the university, and I see younger people, sometimes they don't feel they could be, in the industry of happiness. You get a lot from a hotel if you like it, and you can have a good career, international career. So sometimes maybe just show a little bit more, and of course, giving support from the government, I agree. And, this is a very important industry in Spain, with a lot of, people, employees, and our PDG and everything. So I don't know, sometimes I think you need more support from the public sector. I agree with you.
One point is you are very right. We need to move our staff members to be storytellers.
Yeah.
Because what our guests are looking for is to listen to the story of the place, the story of a wine, the story of a cheese, the story of where to go. And so coming to a location, coming to an hotel, coming to Madrid, you need to know and to be immersed in the culture, in the history of the city. And so moving our staff members to be storytellers. We are doing some trainings, but it's difficult because it's something that you don't learn in hospitality schools, unfortunately. And this gives you another level of experience, another kind of relation with your guest, and also that give you the passion of what you are doing on a daily basis.
You have very good, I was in Sombrul.
Yes.
I love that property. It was full in September.
Yeah.
And I think you have very, very good people both of you, of course. So I think we are kind of run out.
Time is up,
Time.
yeah, I'm
I
afraid.
think so.
It was very interesting, but time is up. Thank you very much. It was very interesting.
Thank you. Okay.